What's up, guys? Today we're going to attempt to fix the door lock actuator on my 2001 Honda CRV. Now that grinding noise you were hearing happens every time I lock the passenger front door. And from doing a little bit of research online, it looks like the door lock actuator in the bottom, that unit looks like this, and it attaches to the bottom of the latch. The gears inside of it looks like they tend to become stripped, and it spins freely as I lock the door. Now, it's still functioning completely, but that noise it's terrible sounding every time I get in and out of the car, and I just wanted to attempt to fix it. Now, I picked up my door lock actuator from eBay. Paid about $19 shipped for it, and the listing looks like they had sold a ton before, so hopefully I have no issues with this unit and it works perfectly fine. The first thing we need to do is go ahead and remove the door panel. But before doing that, go ahead and make sure your window is rolled all the way up, because if the window's rolled down, we will not be able to access the actuator and the door latch over here. The first thing we need to do, there's a handful of screws that need to be pulled off of the door panel. Right here you have a little plastic screw and washer. Inside there, inside the door handle. Also down here on the door pull. Right there as well. Behind the speaker, this little cover, all you have to do is slide in a screwdriver on the side and it just pries straight out. Then you have a screw in each of these holes surrounding the speaker. It's right down there, number 2 and number 3. Now when you get the door handle removed, what you're going to do with the screw out, you just got to push it forward and then it slides out. And then you're going to see inside here. Let me zoom in. Right there on that little clip, what we need to do is slide it up off of, this is the bar which does the locking for the, the opening for the door handle. Slide this little clip up and then you could pull the bar out. That way we can go ahead and pull the door handle, and otherwise it's not going to come off together. Like, this is going to keep the door handle onto the panel and won't be able to remove the panel completely. And I'm not sure if the wiring is connected to the door panel or the door, so all we got to do is just pry this one away and let's just remove the door handle completely. And then what we can do, now we can pull that. You'll hear the little pressure clips pop. You'll start to see the door panel become free. Now when pulling the door panel forward, the speaker wiring is still connected. So to make it a little easier, I'm just going to remove the 3 screws that are holding the speaker in. I'm going to pull it out and then just unplug the speaker. And mine still has the OEM speakers, so it has that little plug. All you have to do is squeeze on the 2 clips on the side and you can slide it away. And now we have a lot more room. It does look like the wiring is attached to the door, so it's good that we remove the handle. What I like to do is kind of just pull out and then hit up in the bottom corner here. Now we got the panel removed. Now this little plastic seal, if yours is in this kind of shape, I would recommend trying to save it. I'm going to remove the 2 screws which pull off this mount. And then mine's already coming loose a little bit, so I'm just going to pull it away and pull it apart. That way when I'm reassembling the door, I'm going to throw some more like silicone glue in here. That way it can maybe help keep this back on. And this is just kind of it acts as a weather seal. Like, say in the summertime, it helps keep hotter air out of the car and cooler air in, and even dust in the elements a little bit. Granted, it's not the most effective, but it does help a little bit. So it's up to you if you want to go ahead and try to retain that. Mine is already off, and it's going to be easy to just pull it off and lift it once I get to this mount off. So I'll just kind of leave it up here because it looks like it's surrounded by these 2 little plastic mounts which hold it up in the corners. So I'll just kind of lift it up and maybe just tape it up to the window or something. Okay, and at this point now we got to figure out how to get this actuator out. So after I was looking in here, if you look right here, you can see the unit on the bottom of the latch itself. And I was looking and I see the end of a bolt. So on the outside of the door we have this 10mm bolt right here we need to remove. This should let us pull the window track away from the latch itself. And once that rail is free, it now looks like we're also going to need to remove the door handle and the little rod which attaches to the key cylinder, because those are going to be attached to the door latch itself, and there's no other way we're going to be able to get it out without removing those. So let me go ahead and start by removing this 10mm first. Then, using a screwdriver, you're going to want to slide off this little C-clip, which is attaching the rod to the cylinder. And then with a screwdriver, you should be able to kind of pry it off of the lock cylinder. Then after that, see that 10mm in there? It's right there. Go ahead and remove that 10mm. And this other one right there, that's for the door handle. So what you need to do, you're kind of going to want to lift in the front a little bit and then slide it forward. There's a little clip on the back of the handle which two metal brackets slide onto the door itself. And you'll see right there. And then you can kind of spin it around. We just need to get it out. And then what I'm going to do, I didn't add enough tape. I'm going to put a little bit more down here. We need to start spinning this around and get it removed from the rod. Okay, after lifting that, I realized there wasn't any room to spin this. Normally you would spin it. That's how I've done it before on my 90 Civic. So I found it a lot easier to just slide this off of the clip. Let me show you in here. If you look inside here, you'll see this little plastic clip. You can see where I was kind of getting at. I was prying it down. So what I did, I had my hand in here. I put my hand on the back of the door handle so that way I could push. And at the same time while I was pushing, with that hand I had my right hand prying at the little plastic, and it just popped right off. So that's going to make it so much easier to reinstall when I put it back on. And it was a lot easier just getting it off. I didn't have any room to try spinning it, so I think this is the appropriate way to go ahead and remove that. And now with both arms free that are going to the door handle, we need to get the last one free from the inside door handle. If you look inside here, it has another one of, it's right here, a little clip. You need to slide this little blue clip down, and then we can pull this rod away from the latch. And then this bar, I just went ahead and removed completely. I don't want it in there impeding my progress when I'm trying to get the latch out, and it's very easy to just pull off this small little clip up here. So now go ahead and remove the 3 screws holding the latch to the door. And with that last screw removed, let's see if that makes it easy to drop out. Okay, it's connected to this wire. Let's go ahead and squeeze that little connection out. And then I'm gonna get this side out too. It's not gonna get it out real quick without that. And then also, of course, the door lock one came with it, but that made it easy. Once that was removed, just get that removed, and here we go with that old door lock actuator. Alright guys, here's a look at it. Here's the actuator itself. Looks like the new one will be okay for fitment. And it looks like all we have to do is remove just this one screw. These two are part of the housing itself. And then there's where the arm is, where it locks and unlocks. That is part of Looks like it has just like there's a metal fork, and then there's a little plastic prong which slides into it. So let's test it out. Oh man. Can we see it move in there? See, unlock works perfectly fine. Man, that is loud. Alright. Everything's unlocked. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this, get the new one plugged in. Looks like once you remove this screw, you can just slide this off and away from this bracket. Yeah, that was it. Once you remove that screw, you can just slide this directly off. And then we need to get it removed from the door. So there's a little push clip. If you can't get it with your fingers, use a pliers where we can get that pulled off of the door. And by pliers I mean squeeze this little tab on the inside. Don't just pull directly at it. And installing the new one was easy. All you do is slide it on. The little plastic arm slides right into that little metal fork. And then this piece just slides right on, and then put your screw on. And once you have it done, let's just go ahead and test it. Looks like no issues at all. It's working perfectly fine. And so now you just got to reinstall it. Just go ahead and do these same instructions in reverse. It might take a little bit more time trying to feed this in. I think this is probably going to be the hardest part, getting this back in, but it shouldn't be too difficult getting that put back into the door. And that was actually the hardest part, but it really wasn't that difficult. You just need to make sure that the locking side goes on the inside of the window track, and the two for the door handle and the door lock, these go behind it. That way the window can slide down without hitting any of those. That's the only way it's going to fit, and you'll kind of figure that out once you're reinstalling yours. And here's a look at that old motor. I went in and pulled off the 3 screws to the housing, and all of the gearing looks fine. So I think it had something to do with this motor, and this, you can actually just pull it out. It has a little piece of tape holding it down. I bet if you found like the motor for this, you could probably just replace this, just resolder the wires on there and go ahead and put this back together using the old components. I think it's a little bit smarter to just get a brand new one, because even though these are plastic, who knows how much longer that they will last on there. And this might only be a couple dollars for that little motor, but I only paid $19 for the entire assembly itself. And that'll wrap it up for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope this helped you get your CRVs fixed.